Jack said to me and Meg have been playing music.
I'd like to introduce to you a band that you know and love. Come to you like the sound of equipment being thrown from a moving van, the sound of dead cell phones and oil rigs, the sound of empty parking lots and school buses. They love to live and live to love. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus Children of America, the White Stripes.
Hello. Come on in. The water's great. My name is Ryan Schaap, and this is the Hardest Podcast, the only podcast covering the White Stripes, celebrating their entire catalog, and we were doing it one song at a time, one song per episode. General listening public, general viewing audience, how the hell are you? I'm doing really cool. Really cool. I'm doing really well. I just recorded a very fun conversation with our guest this week, Discord Addams, one of the a contestant on the 18th season of RuPaul's Drag Race and one hell of a White Stripes and Jack White fan. Talking about Effect and Cause, the last song on the White Stripes album Icky Thump, and the last song in the White Stripes album discography. The song's funny to me because it's telling this story of a troubled relationship or some drama or, you know, two people not being their best in a situation. But it's told in a cute, quirky, tongue-in-cheek country western song that it makes it incredibly easy to relate to, connect to, and kind of identify the plot and the name of the game. So Discord and I talk about that song, and we will talk about that song in a little bit. It's interesting. I have been on summer vacation mode, summer mode where, things aren't happening as quickly or consistently as they could. But we are right back into the swing of things here. We've got a handful of very cool podcasts coming up. We're going to have content all the way through our upcoming trip to see Jack perform in Dublin and check out Third Man London. And, of course, his These Ideas May Disappear exhibit. So a lot coming up, but we will have some fun episodes coming on your way on this here podcast platform. Are you new here? Was this your first time? You know what we're doing on this show? We're working to get Jack White on the show. Not once, not twice, but thrice. Each week we dissect a random White Stripes song. That's the same case. That's the case for him because I have set aside 3 mystery songs that nobody knows about except for 3 people, maybe 2. They might know what the first one is. But the goal on this show is to get enough traction, get enough momentum, make enough noise that Jack comes on this show. And the format will not change. It will be like every other past episode. We'll be talking about one song and the significance and the history and the quirks and the tour history and the video and all that great stuff. But we're going to do that 3 times. So that is the name of the game here. 1, to get Jack White on the show, but also cover this band the way they deserve to be covered. No AI bullshit, no clickbait headlines, just real people having passionate conversations about a band they love. And a band they love and people they respect and care about. So come along for this journey, check out some old episodes, and you might find something you like. I don't know if you've noticed or if I don't think I've pointed it out, but the Jack White autographed guitar pedal has made its way up onto the shelf. Hey, if you're curious what's on the shelf, there is a sealed VHS copy of the Canadian mockumentary Fubar. If you've never seen it, please go do it. Please go see that. It explains so much about Canadian culture. So we have Fubar. This is a puck for the Vancouver Golden Eyes. They are the professional women's hockey team here in Vancouver that we're season ticket holders for. That's a Julio Rodriguez baseball card. The kids are back. Mariners taking 2 of 3 against Houston, winning the last 3 of 4. Which way to the playoffs? We got the Jack White autographed guitar pedal, and this is my pride and joy. I found this VHS in a wrestling thrift store in Tokyo, and it is signed by the man himself, Cactus Jack, Mick Foley. Bang, bang. Before we get into our call to action, I gotta say, if you want to support the show monetarily, head on over to patreon.com/hardestpodtopod, monetarily meaning money. That's a great way to support the show. You can check out our bonus content there, and we will have some more stuff in the coming weeks. So if you're getting a little itchy, a little antsy, don't worry about it. There's stuff coming to Patreon. But any dollar that is donated, pledged on Patreon, gets reinvested right back into the show. We want to make this show as good and as fun and as high quality and consistent as possible. And a few bucks here or there every month from you, the beloved listener, boy, that goes a long way. So go to patreon.com/hardestpodtopod. It is free to look. Check it out. You might see something you like. You can also go to buymeacoffee.com/hardestpodtopod. And one thing I haven't asked in a really long time, this is a podcast. You're either listening to it on a podcast app or you're watching it on YouTube. Stop what you're doing. Hit like. Maybe leave a comment. Maybe share it if you can. But just engage. Leave a review. There's a reason why podcasters have been begging and pleading for podcast app reviews for decades, and it's because they are effective and it works. You know, I'm a big fan of Will Sasso, and he would always say on 10 Minute Podcast, I'm not a podcaster, I just have a podcast. I consider the same case with me. I'm not a podcaster, but I've got one, and I host it. Okay. It's time for our call to action this week. And you know what needs to happen. First thing we're going to do, I'm going to take a swig off of this DC, this fridge cig. I'm going to tell you to hit pause on this podcast, go to your streaming platform of choice, and go listen to the last song on Icky Thump and the last song in the White Stripes album discography. Listen to Effect and Cause. Why? Because I want it to be as fresh in your mind as it was in my mind and in Discord's mind when we talked about this. It also means that every time we do a song, the listening data, the streaming data gets a little bit bigger with each of these songs. That blip gets bigger. The correlation is there. Those fat cats at Third Man Records, they start to notice and they go, by golly geez, I think we got to send Jack. This show's just going to get bigger. And then they're going to have to go, by golly, I think we got to send old Johnny Guitars Ryan's way for a hard-hitting conversation. It won't be that hard-hitting. Or will it? Makes you wonder. Okay, now that you've listened to Effect and Cause, enjoy this conversation with me in Discord. Our guest this week recently competed in the 18th season of the iconic RuPaul's Drag Race, and you can watch their web series, Fuck This, on WoW Presents YouTube channel. They are Discord Addams. Discord, welcome aboard. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. Oh, I'm doing great. Like I said, this is my dream podcast. So I was on Drag Race, but now I've made it.
Before we talk about your drag persona and your career as a performer, what's your, maybe this is a loaded question, what's your connection to the White Stripes?
I mean, I'm 36, so I grew up in the era of Jack White. I'm convinced that he's the devil, but in a positive way. I've taken many acid trips where I'm like, yeah, that's Satan, and I will sign my soul over to him, and it's fine. And I can give you a whole PowerPoint presentation on why I think that is. No, I like everything about him. I like things in general when it comes to art that are minimal but look maximalist, and I feel like that is the epitome of the White Stripes and the epitome of Jack White in general. I think that he makes music that sounds like it could have come out at any given decade in any point in history. And I like art that speaks like that. And I think that he's aside from being Satan, I also think he's a mad genius. So he's been there forever. And you can talk to people who will say that they don't know who he is or they don't know the White Stripes. And it's never true. Like once you like give them like 3 songs or that bum, 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 and they're like, oh shit, I know at least 10 Jack White songs.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, he's been there forever. Like since the dawn of time, actually.
Yeah, he you know, his presence came on the scene in about 2002, and it seemingly hasn't left. And there, the significance that he has on art or music has not waned. It just like he has been this constant that you want to listen to, you want to give the time to appreciate what they're doing. And yeah, it's he is somebody that is a lot more rare as time goes on, and just it, you know, you need artists like that.
Yeah, he's like our last real rock star.
No question. And rockstar can be such a general, watered down, middle of the mall term. Like you could have a job in HR in a cubicle, and somebody could say you've been a real rock star this week. But you go see him live and you're like, Jesus Christ, I don't know what I'm seeing. I don't know how I could replicate this energy or recreate anything. And I'm just like, you're seeing something at a completely next level. And that's to say he's the last rock star. I couldn't agree more.
I know, I hope he inspires more people to like cause trouble in good music.
I mean, listen, rock and roll is dangerous. Rock and roll is greasy. You know, he tells a story about, story. He talks about before gigs, you know, he kind of has to get a little amped up, maybe break something backstage, you know.
Yeah, I miss when he was fighting. I miss when he was fighting people.
He's a passionate guy that stands up for exactly what he believes in, and it may not be the best decision, but you're like, yeah, I get where he's coming from. Yeah, I probably would have done the same. Tell me about Discord Addams.
So I would like to think that I'm like the rock star of the drag world. I want to, you know, cause problems, but like in a positive way, like cause problems for good, you know, kind of like Robin Hood, you know. I'm very like politically outspoken. Everything you usually see me wear is created 100% by me and my partner. So everything is upcycled. Like we're not like, you know, shopping at Shein and all of that. Like we want, you know, to show the people that the art form can still exist as it was supposed to be, which again is how I feel Jack White is with music. You know, it's like he wants the art form to be raw, he wants it to be tangible, he wants it to be very DIY, and I take a lot of that, and that's how me and my partner tackle drag too.
You mentioned a really good point about like you really appreciate minimalism with a really big impact, and the White Stripes and Jack White live, you know, Jack White now presently are like the epitome of that. Is that a mindset? Is that something that can be attributed or not attributed? Can you share that same mindset when in the world of drag, or does it need to be a different level of, you know, over the top based on trends and just type of what goes into a drag persona or drag costumes?
For me, yes, because like I'm not. The way that I tackle drag is that I like to wear things that are like a lot more in the world of fashion and a lot less in the world of drag. You know, I mean, there's so many types of drag, but like when you think of like a, you know, stereotypical campy drag queen, you know what I mean? I like to look like I exist in the world of rock and roll or in the world of fashion. Like I like to say there's not a lot of difference in what I'm doing than what David Bowie was doing or Motley Crue was doing, or even, you know, the White Stripes were doing. You know, I have like elements of all of that and how I perform. I perform live most of the time, like with my guitar or singing live. You know, I'm not like lip syncing a lot of the time now either. Like I want to make an album that can exist and stand alone in the music world as opposed to being something that would be labeled as a drag album.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
No, I like everything I'm hearing right now. I also just noticed that you're wearing red, white, and black, and
Yes, I had to be on theme.
I can't help but a tip of the cap to you. One thing about like the in this project that I've been this ongoing project that I'm doing, this podcast, I'm having a lot of conversations with people, and kind of the subject of the outfits, the costumes, the personas of Jack and Meg. It's a real constant, and I'd be lying if a handful full of people have not compared that to the world of drag, where
I'll say the white stripes were drag for sure.
like, you know, they had a gimmick. Like there was Jack White, and he was, you know, wearing the same thing, acting a certain way, being a Willy Wonka, you know, rock and roller with Robert Smith from The Cure hair, and just you know, that was him. But, you know, and then probably for a couple hours a day, he was, you know, John Anthony Gillis, and the same was probably the same for Meg. Do you find, yeah, you already said that was like, what is that kind of how being a drag performer works? Like you've got a persona, you've got to live the gimmick, and it's kind of like, it's, you know, that persona, you know, carries on into, you know, off the stage and, you know, into your life, and kind of can bleed over into your personal life.
Yeah, I mean, and especially before, I've been doing drag for like 15 years, a long time. And I would say before, when I started, there was like a bigger separation and distinction from like Dustin to Discord. And now that I've been doing it for so long, I think aspects of like Dustin have crept into Discord, and aspects of Discord have crept into Dustin. And I think that they're a lot more meshed and intertwined now than they used to be. I think like in drag, I am definitely more outgoing, and like once I hit the stage, you know, there's a switch that turns on. But I think that can be said for any kind of performer in any art form.
No, absolutely. You know, how hard is it to be on RuPaul's Drag Race? My wife is a pretty big enthusiast. So you know, it's on regularly, and I absorb, you know, through osmosis. You know, and I'm not the most avid watcher, but it just seems like, you know, reality shows are their own beast. So like, what is it like being in that show and just performing, but thriving, but also trying to survive and, you know, make it out each week?
You know, if you asked my sisters, they would say that it was like horrible and hard and difficult and stressful. But I've been auditioning for over a decade, and I've just kind of emotionally and mentally prepared myself for it as the best that I could, you know, not really knowing what I was going to get like really set into. But I had a good time. Like I just woke up every day like wanting to do my best and showcase like me. And luckily, a lot of the challenges were like within my wheelhouse, and when they weren't, like I just pretended that they were anyways. But I don't know, I just had fun. Like, and I think like that's why I kind of cultivated the fan base that I did, is because they could see that like my personality wasn't like, there wasn't a difference. Like you could tell that like I was a real like person, and like who I would be on or off camera. And I was really proud to like watch it back and not feel like I had some like turned on like fake persona that I was like giving. Like it just really felt like I got to showcase my true self. And I think that's what helped me make it through the challenges, and what like allowed me to have a good time for the 2 months that I was locked away there.
Do you think if you were a little more evil or a little more devious, you would have, you would have lasted a little bit longer?
I think if they ever put me on All Stars, we'll find out the answer to that, because I definitely would go back a little less nice. I found out that like being nice doesn't get you friends in a reality show. So and so neither does being mean. So you might as well like fuck with the girls a little bit.
Yeah. Somebody is appears honest and genuine. Well, let's exploit them for that. Do
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
to
Let's
our
all say
ability.
she should go home.
So then I have to ask you, because I haven't watched your season. Did you when you had to lip sync for your life, what did you do?
So the song that was chosen, the song that I unfortunately had to lip sync to was "We Can't Be Friends" by Ariana Grande, which not particularly in Discord's wheelhouse, but I decided like once I got home to kind of take that moment and make it my own. And
Sure.
I ended up covering the song and turning it into like a pop goes punk version of the song. And I put it on Spotify and like made it my own. That way, like it didn't feel like a bad thing that I went home to it.
That's so cool. Just I don't know. That's the kind of move. Just turning something into a positive and just creating that opportunity. So I think that's really damn cool. You
Thank you.
mentioned before we were going that there was a Jack White tie-in to your time on Drag Race.
Yeah, so we did have an episode where we had to do a talent show, and we had 60 seconds to do whatever we want, that we got to kind of prepare a little bit before going on the show. And so I remember one time that I saw Jack live. It was one of the most impressive things that I've ever seen. Maybe it was pre-staged by him, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. But he started out one of his songs and his guitar string broke. And instead of like stopping the song, he just, handed the guitar over and then went and started playing it on the drums and then swiveled around and started playing it on the piano. And by the time he was done on the piano, they brought his guitar back. And then finished the song out on the guitar. And so when I was like brainstorming what I would do for a talent show, I was like, obviously I'm going to play guitar, but like, what else am I going to do that's going to make this, interesting in 60 seconds and for reality TV? And I remembered that moment. And so I wrote like a 60-second song. I recorded the piano myself. I recorded the guitar myself. I had my friend like teach me a little bit on the drums. And in 60 seconds, I started on the drums, ran over, played it on the piano, and like did a cartwheel, got the guitar, and ended it on guitar, all to a song that I wrote myself. And like that was like my Jack White moment. And the entire stage, the drums were red, the guitar was red. I was only in red and black. Like I brought it all there.
So I need to watch this 18th season of RuPaul's Drag Race. Is what you're saying.
It was like just a cheeky little song called "Not Another Drag Song," and the whole premise of it was that I'm not going to write a cliche drag song. You're not going to hear it from me. But by the time the song ends, I realize that I, in fact, did what I set out not to do, and I kind of celebrate it. And like a lot of my drag, I only wear like 3 colors at a time also, because I do agree that that is kind of the best visual information that you can give somebody without being overloaded, but it still looks very, very impactful.
Now, would you say in drag like that is, or like, let's say on the season of Drag Race that you were on, were you one of the more simplistic of individuals, or was that a bit of a trend in that house?
I mean, when you look at my drag, the last thing people would ever say is it's simplistic. Like it is definitely maximalist in like by a lot, but it still has the simplicity of only like 3 colors and like embellishments. But within that, I do a lot. Like there's an episode where I make an outfit and I use like over 800 some safety pins on it. So it's like I'm never doing anything that's small.
That's a hell of a battle vest you were making for that many safety pins.
Exactly.
So we're talking about Effect and Cause this week, which is the last song on the White Stripes' last album, off Icky Thump, and it's country as hell. And Jack White has gone on to say that it was a song about an unknown woman that Jack had been in love with for a few years prior to this. In listening to the song in preparation for this show, Discord, what leaps out of the speakers to you? What's something that stands out about this song, just like right off the top?
This is a song that I reference a lot throughout life. But one of the things that I love about him is he's able to take something that you know, like you said, it's about him breaking up or him and somebody he was in love with. But he's able to take moments like that and make them so universal that anybody can relate to it, or you can take pieces of it and it could truly mean 1,000 other things other than just that. And I think that's what I like about his songwriting the most is he has very peculiar ways of making weird metaphors that still somehow feel relatable, even though it's like the last way you'd ever think to relate it to something.
I was thinking about, no, it makes perfect sense because I had never really analyzed this song. I just thought it was, like, it sounded cute. It was had a country twang to it, and it sounded really childlike. It sounded like a bit of a song, maybe a Sunday school song with robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you're upset with your little brother for losing the ball or whatever. It didn't really dawn on me that, like, okay, this is a song about somebody creating a really terrible situation and then getting upset when people react to it.
Yeah, so that's how to me it feels like he's taking something very philosophical and like turning it into like a quick little country song. And it's something that I deal with on Twitter all the time, is like basically the premise of this song.
So wait, are you
like,
the effect or are you the cause?
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm innocent.
I ain't saying quite the reverse.
But like what I'll notice, especially, you know, as somebody who's forced to be on the internet and forced to deal with idiots, is, you know, people will come at you sideways and they'll say something so inflammatory and so ridiculous, and then you respond to them to stick up for yourself, you know, and they'll just be like, actually, it's not even that deep. Like, what's wrong with you? And they'll kind of like gaslight you before standing up for yourself. And it's like, so you're the one who like called me an ugly piece of shit. I got mad at that, and now I'm the problem for getting mad at that. And it's like, anytime anyone deals with something like that, I send them this song.
Huh? Now, if you have general reading comprehension, you might be able
which
to
they
take
don't.
If you did, you would be able to take something from this song about how you created this situation. You talk about being chronically online. You know, it's like I just think of the of the Tim Robinson, I think you should leave sketch where he's, we got to figure out who did this, and he's the guy in the hot dog suit who crashed the hot dog car into the store. And you're like,
yeah.
But I really like what you said about like it's super philosophical out of like really just I want to say like simple scenarios or simple terms because as I was listening to this song, like, Jack and the White Stripes regularly talk about how the White Stripes were formed to just like boil down everything to its most primitive of forms, like of music or artwork through to still. And it made me think about this song. Like, it's obviously about, you're dating I don't want to say problematic individual, but maybe somebody that doesn't make a situation as good as it could. You maybe volatile or whatever. But, he uses these terms that are or these analogies or these phrases that are just so boiled down simple that it's really easy to know exactly what they're trying to say. It's not overcomplicated. It's not like, oh, my situationship is not progressing the way I want, and all of these things are in play. It's just like, I like somebody who's making it really difficult to like them, and they are getting the chain of events wrong, and I don't think that they're aware of the hurt they're causing or the chaos. And it's
always so crazy to me that like he says he's never done drugs, because he like everything that I've like discovered on acid is like everything. Like, he seems like somebody who like would have dabbled. Yeah, the way like he's able to like, because like every time I'm on acid, I'm like just put it in a sifter until you get down to like the basic like, why are you asking this question? And I feel like that's how his like lyrics are, like exactly like what you were saying. It's like just get it down to like the bare bones of like what are we actually saying?
See, Jack's got that superpower where, when you're on whatever substance we're on, it's like, yeah, you have these bare bones conversations, and maybe you can only have them in a certain state of mind, but you just you boil it down and you go, why am I really upset, or why am I so passionate about this? And it's like, oh, it's because of the most simple thing in the world. You're just choosing not to acknowledge, and you got Jack choosing to acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
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 But I do really like this song. I had misheard
I love
it.
Country Jack. I love when he's in his country phase. I'm like waiting for that to like come back around.
It was there. It was there for. It felt like the natural progression of Jack as an artist and the White Stripes as a band was just veering down that country road based on where he relocated. Songs off of Icky Thump. The songs they recorded with Beck afterwards were very, very country. And yeah, you were slowly getting glimpses of them wearing cowboy hats, and it just like it fit right. It's not like nowadays where the only thing that sells is country, so let's put a twang in our voice and a twang in our tone. It was like, no, that's what they should be doing. And
this being the final song on the album, it feels like the perfect like progression into like what he was about to jump into with his like solo albums.
Yeah. And I also do. Yeah. Country Jack makes a lot of sense. But he appears to have gone back to just extremely loud and chaotic garage rock Jack, who is just as
I love
delightful.
Punk Jack too.
Oh. Have you seen the White Stripes live or Jack White live?
I've seen Jack White live so many times, and I've seen the Raconteurs, but I've not seen the Dead Weather or the White Stripes.
I was lucky enough to just like the band when I was about in the 10th grade, and anytime they would come to town, anytime Jack White comes to town, I would be able to see them, and quite quickly. After seeing them on this Icky Thump tour, quite quickly after, I was like, I've never been more grateful to go see an artist live and just kind of, dive headfirst into them. They're a special group, and he is a very special musician, man.
Yeah.
So I've misheard this song for the entire time it's been released, and so the first lyric right off the bat, I guess you have to have a problem if you want to invent a contraption. Like it's the perfect metaphor for just you're gonna have to create something because you're not enjoying what we're doing right now, and it sets the tone perfectly for this song.
Yeah, it's like it's right off the bat, you know exactly what the song is going to be about.
Mm-hmm. Another. You mentioned that this is the last song off of Icky Thump. How does it serve as a Icky Thump is I believe it. I think it's both of our favorite White Stripes albums. It's chaos. It's all over the map. How does Effect and Cause serve as a finale, a credits roll, if you will?
Well, it's like kind of funny because like the album is so like chaotic all over the place. You got bagpipes, you've got crazy guitar solos that sound like chainsaws. You have like some aqualung kind of solos in Icky Thump, and then you get to this song and it kind of just calms it all down, and it's like very tonally a lot quieter than the rest of the album. So it kind of serves to like kind of mellow you out. And was it intentionally the final song? Probably. Everything he does is very, very intentional. But yeah, it seems like he kind of probably knew where his solo music was going to go. So it does make sense to me that like he would end it on a very like bluegrassy note that like perfectly segues into like the next era and the next chapter of his music. Because I'm sure he was kind of, I mean, you can even tell by like how black and white the album cover is that like he was on the outs of hanging out with Meg and doing anything with her. So I think this was kind of like maybe the song was about her. Maybe also that's like a possibility as well. Because I feel like they were not really probably at their best of getting along during this album.
I'm not I'm not sure if that's the case, but in my they're just
It's just so
so
interesting because you never know
different.
when he's going to say something really nice about her or something really awful. Like not like now. Like I feel like he's kind of come to terms with
Yeah.
like how iconic and important that she was for the White Stripes. But like I've read some interviews where I'm like, oh my God, like calm down. Like let's be nice to Meg for a second.
Yeah. And you bring up a great point, because I don't think when he intended to be mean in any capacity, but he was just telling exactly how he felt as accurately as possible, and just like, this is what's going on, because there was a few
I think he's
interviews.
an autistic man. I genuinely believe that man is on the spectrum.
What's this tell?
Well, the fact that he's like very just kind of bluntly honest about everything, like with probably without intention to be harmful, with his
Yeah.
pattern recognition and the way that he is able to write the music, the way that he's able to write it, with his obsession with whatever his hyper fixation of colors
Yeah.
are, and like, basically everything about him. And when I just listened to him talk recently on I think it was either Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon when he was talking about his like sculptures that he's doing. Like just the way that the man talks, I'm like, oh, you're a fellow like neurodivergent sister.
Yeah, those identifications of trends and patterns are quite current in my home as well. It's something that you kind of, once you're exposed to that or educated on it, you just you realize it's a very broad spectrum, and
Yeah.
everybody's on it. But you mentioned those interviews, and there was a couple of them. Like there was it was around his grump era. That's when like the divorce emails came out, and he was mad that the Black Keys kid was going to the same school as him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, you got a 2-piece band from the Midwest playing guitar and drums and trying to sound as lo-fi and garagey as possible. I'd be a little upset too, saying.
And it's so funny because like I don't think that the Black Keys sound like the White Stripes or Jack White like at all, aside from the fact that they have inspiration in the blues. But like I never hear a Black Keys song and think, oh wow, that could be a White Stripes song.
No, and plus the Black Keys never tried to maintain the consistency of just of the primitive nature and the restrictions that Jack and Meg had. The White Stripes were two people playing an instrument each at a time for their entire existence. Meanwhile, there's like 14 guys on stage with the Black Keys. Like one's a band, one's a duo, and there's not a lot in common except for some peculiar similarities that you could take either way. But when he was grumpy, I remember he talked about Meg, and he's like, I don't even have Meg's phone number, or like, I don't know, I have no connection to her. And if you are,
and I've heard him even say like some of his albums they might as well have been Jack White solo albums. I'm like, okay. Like I see what you're saying, but like you could say it a little nicer.
Yeah. And for White Stripes albums, for songs, I remember reading a long time ago, he's like, every White Stripes song, is a Jack solo song, because he writes it and composes it the way he wants to hear it, and then he brings it to Meg, and together they create some sort of cacophony of chaos that will paint that picture. And I think that we could all agree that probably that cacophony of chaos painted it a lot better than Jack would have as a solo artist. But he was saying, he was just being really honest, and not sugarcoating it. And like, Meg is the shyest introverted person in the world. And I remember in one interview, he goes, I really wish that Meg would have said, shared a thought about the music they were making, or had an opinion, or gave a high five. And
Yeah.
you know what? Like, none of those are bad things. None of those, that describes just a person's behavior and how they react to things. But when it's said by Jack, and it's said about somebody as, delicate as Meg, it doesn't come off good in the least bit.
Yeah. But also, like, I get where he's coming from too. I'm no stranger to like giving my opinion and it not being received well.
I think though, yeah. I will say, and I'm sure you would agree with me, in the recent years, even leading up to the Hall of Fame, and in how the this elder millennial band has now just been propped up in such high regard. Like, it's, he's able to kind of soften his comments and heighten his praise a bit more about her and the music they created. And I think that's just what everybody wants to see.
Absolutely. I was really hoping she was going to show up to the Hall of Fame.
I really was too. And I don't know if you're a big sports fan or something, but it felt like I was there was a big playoff game that night, and I spent the whole day wondering, like, what's going to happen? Like,
Yeah.
how is this going to go? Like, because you just, like, this is a band that is so easy to root for and so easy to believe in, because they are a genuine artist. And as soon as she wasn't there, I was bummed. And then I'm like, but it makes perfect sense why she wouldn't be there. So you can't knock her for it. But I wish you would have been there too. You mentioned that you share this this song with shitheads, assholes, losers, the smooth-brained numbskulls that is the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. What do you have a favorite lyric? Do you have something that you easily connect to, or just really like to hear, or a lyric that is, you kind of sing back to yourself in your head with this song?
Yeah, the two that I really particularly love are "You burnt my house down, then got mad at my own reaction," because like that one just puts it so bluntly as to like you can't really misinterpret that. And I also really, really, really love let me go down to it. I ain't saying I'm innocent, in fact, the reverse, but if you're headed to the grave, you don't blame the hearse. You're like a little girl yelling at her brother because you lost his ball. Because I'm like, it just, everybody's acting like incessant toddlers. And like, it's just giving that exact energy of like, you came online with a shitty opinion that you could have just said privately. You could have just talked shit to your best friend on the phone like a normal adult, but instead, like, you tagged me or tagged whoever the fuck that it was, and then got mad at them for having a reaction to you, being a piece of shit. Like, I'll see these trolls go online and, fat shame other contestants or be blatantly racist to other contestants, or, and it supersedes Drag Race. It's in all fandoms across the board. These little anime profile pictured little twats, like, having the most horrifying little takes, and then you call them out for it, and then they're just like, whoa. It's not that deep. It's like, well, it is that deep. You just called her a fat faggot. So, like, I don't know. It feels like it might be that deep, actually, and you're just mad that a famous person called you out on it. Like,
yeah,
I promise I have the time. I promise.
You're like, I am standing up for exactly what I believe in or believe against. I am going to come down on you with with fire, fury, hell, and
I could have 20
brimstone.
followers or 50 million followers, and I'm still going to find the time to let you know with your 4 followers and your fake profile picture that you're a piece of shit and you should log off and your parents should hug you more.
Listen, I appreciate you fighting the good fight. One thing I really like about this song is there is a self-awareness with the narrator, or there's a self-awareness with Jack, where it's like, I ain't saying I'm innocent. Well, ain't saying I'm innocent. In fact, the reverse. Like, it's like, listen, we're both not being our best here.
Yeah.
But with the way you are viewing things and the way you are doing things is just a little bit more shitty, and it'd be great if you could maybe not burn my house down, or
Yeah.
not accuse me of robbing a bank. So it's in a song about two kind of people sucking, it's good that at least one is a little self-aware. Like, it's mad drama, but at least one person knows that it could be preventable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go to this song's legacy. This song was performed. I got the sense that the White Stripes really liked this song. They performed it on Later with Jools Holland. They also performed it on Late Night with Conan O'Brien, and kind of did it up in the crowd, in the audience. And it's just it felt like this was a song that was going to be prominent. And if the band had kept going, it really feels like this song would have been a bit of a staple for them, just in musically and lyrically. Like, it really, I feel like the song really encompasses like what the White Stripes were all about at this time.
Yeah. And I would love to have ever seen him do this solo, but yeah, it never makes its way into the playlist.
Not yet, no. Reviewers are pretty positive about the White Stripes at this time, and with this song, Pitchfork, the always snarky, lovable.
I guess lovable. I think they're such assholes and so pretentious about everything.
You would be correct. The pretentious, smug, art school degree, pompous characters that they are. They said, Icky Thump also treats us to a band that once again seems comfortable with its broken-in sounds, from the reverb thud of Little Cream Soda and the British Invasion 12-bar of 300-mile-per-hour torrential outpour blues to the back porch ditty of Effect and Cause. I really like this because, a lot of White Stripes albums kind of have a reasonably cohesive tone and sound and theme to them, but Icky Thump it goes in about 6 different directions, with including Effect and Cause, and then Effect and Cause is the song that's gonna kind of bring it all back to the same space and let you reflect on the journey you just went on. Rolling Stone gave the album 3.5 out of 5. 2 other tracks.
That's a crazy review. 3.5 is crazy.
Yeah, what's that? That's a 7. That's a C+.
Yeah, boo.
Yeah, you boomer rock and roll establishment. 2 other tracks, top tracks show off Jack's songwriting per se. Broadly applicable philosophical closer called Effect and Cause. And a cute Jack and Meg dialogue that recalls the band's earliest blues, Rag and Bone. That's always been Jack's MO, an album to album, one every 2 years since White Blood Cells in 2001. He's hauled new Detrius? Diatris? No, I'm terrible at spelling and pronouncing. Yeah. Oh, how do you Detrius? Diatria? Detrtus?
It's a great question.
God. Detritus. Okay. So there we go. I'm going to keep that in because I need to let everyone know nothing's perfect. He's hauled new detritus into his theoretical garage. Get Behind Me, Satan's got a ton of, it's got the marimba, it's got a ton of piano, it's barely got any guitar. And Icky Thump has all the kind of things that the White Stripes, made a name for themselves for, but also bagpipes, and also that weird little Wurlitzer piano that you hear in that little keyboard on Icky Thump. So, it's all over the place, but the common thread here is Effect and Cause really calms it all down and makes it cohesive.
I'm reading something interesting about it that I didn't know, and I still don't know if it's true, because I think everything on the internet's a lie. But
Everything on the internet's true except on Twitter.
Yeah. It's saying that this song is a part of a trilogy. The second installment being Lazaretto's Want and Able. It doesn't say what the third song is though. Interesting. I wonder if that's a fact.
Huh. That's going to give us something. That's going to give us something to go analyze there.
Yeah, they're not giving any like liner notes as to like where they got that information from, but oh wait. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know.
When fans assume, we must assume correctly.
Yeah.
As for the live history, it was performed 29 times live. It had a very short lifespan, in live. It was first played on May 18th, 2007 in Nashville. They played a bit of a warm-up gig, more intimate, at the Cannery Ballroom. And it was last played at, I think, their third last show at the House of Blues in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And Jack's never performed this song live as a solo artist. Being an advocate for this song, is this something that he should play live, or is this something that should... Go ahead.
I'd love to see this song live. I'd be so excited. Because again, like anytime he gets a little bit more bluegrassy and country, I'm like, oh yeah. I love to hear it. I mean, like, there's not really much from him I don't love to hear, but when he like infuses the bluegrass into his music, I think it's really fascinating.
I think I'd like to hear it too. Maybe on like a quieter, I don't know. I think you could only do this song quietly. I think there are a handful of White Stripes songs that are hands off, like that only make sense to be performed and performed by Jack and Meg, and maybe should be left in the past. But I think that this could be a fun one to resurrect. And it's just, I don't think that he has any rules about them. He picks and chooses how he based on what way the wind blows that day. So
and like this one doesn't have very like Meg specific like drum lines on it. Like this is a song he could easily just have with just him and his acoustic guitar, and it would work fine.
I would agree with you. Discord, as we wrap up, is there anything you would like to plug?
God, I've got so many things are happening. Every day I wake up. Let's see.
Good things?
Yes, yeah. It's never bad. I have a fun tour coming up called the Riot Tour, which is me and a handful of other Drag Race girls, but it's no lip syncing allowed. We have a full backing band behind us. The guitarist is from Goldfinger. It's going to be really fucking cool. It's going to be like the kind of tour I want to be doing. So that's coming to I'm going to 5 cities in that. I'm doing a Halloween tour where I'm the Pope, which will be really funny.
It's the part you were born to play, baby.
Hello. And then I'm on an entire Christmas tour throughout all of November and December. But eventually, between all of this, I will be recording an EP. So that is the ultimate thing that I am ultimately excited to push out there. That way 2027 can be the year of me performing at music festivals.
That's so sick. And I love this. Again, this is your take on drag and this punk rock approach that doesn't take anything away from the art form. It just it absolutely is just everything it's everything you want it to be, and it just sounds so cool. And
thank you.
Will this tour come to Vancouver?
This one's not, but I am going on a tour in springtime that I do believe is across Canada. So,
well, I think I'll be there. I'll wear red, white, and black. You'll see me,
and I'll see you.
I want to ask you my first question. Even though you're so this tour is nothing about lip syncing. If you had to lip sync for your life and you had to pick a White Stripes song, which one would you pick?
That's a hard question. Well, the first song I ever covered live of them was "Fell in Love with a Girl."
Well, yeah, that would be fun
So
to
that
do.
would be fun. Wow. If I were to lip sync to any, I've lip synced to Lazaretto so many times. Because I have this belt that like an angle grinder, and if I hit it, it shoots sparks everywhere. So during the guitar solo, instead of guitar soloing, I like shoot sparks all over the crowd.
That's so sick. Man. Okay, well, the next time, my final question, I asked this to everybody. The next time you listen to Effect and Cause, what's going to go through your mind? What are you going to think about?
Well, gosh, now that we've had to analyze the whole thing, I'll probably be like thinking about it even deeper, and I'll be like, God damn it, I wish I would have mentioned that on the podcast.
You'll think of regret and remorse. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, that was Discord and Ryan. Ryan and Discord. Not just a very effective and reliable chat platform anymore. I'm a member of the Little Room Discord. Discord is very important. And I like what Discord is doing in the drag scene and the punk rock scene. Keep it the fuck up. We'll be back next week. I know what the song will be. And I know who the guest will be. And that's all I'll say. And it might be released early at patreon.com/hardestpod2pod. So keep that in mind. The Hardest Podcast to Podcast is hosted and produced by me, Ryan Schaap. Artwork is by Catlin Likely. Amanda Schultz is our assistant editorial producer. And Mike Noble is our Gato.
Show. I cannot thank the White Stripes enough. We love it when you come by the show. Thanks so much for doing it. Fantastic record. Go and get this record. Thank you so much.